At my house, the family came in for the holiday.
Nice.
All right. Hey, y'all. Hey, y'all. If you are at Hallelujah streaming live platform already, you early. We show. Thank y'all for tuning in. Please tag and share. We're going to be broadcasting live here in a few moments. Okay, this is going to give us the ability to hear who's coming on the phone, but I'm gonna turn it all the way down until somebody's on the line so it doesn't revert to what we're doing. Miss Nita, you know what?
What?
We need to meet up for a real common cup of coffee one day.
We do.
I miss you.
All the time. I miss you too. I love seeing you on Facebook. At least I kind of know what's going on. So tell me this: how many babies do you have?
In my home, 4 that are mine too.
Okay.
But we are sheltering some DB.
I wondered because I saw 3. I said, wait a minute, she hadn't told me about this.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, it's a lot of families out there. That's why I just, this takes it to a whole nother level for me.
Yeah.
That the families are struggling and this economy is not helping.
Right.
And so the work that you and many others have, and the examples that you all are putting out there are so necessary because there's so many people in need.
So many people in need.
So. Okay. We're going to go on here shortly.
I'm tired because I just finished eating lunch.
Oh, I understand.
And I had
Good afternoon to our wide-ranging audience, all the way from the Panhandle to lower middle Georgia. We know that y'all are tuned in and listening to Hallelujah, the highest praise on radio. This is the Greg James Community Show. As you can hear, I ain't Greg James, but he is out in the field doing the wonderful work of the Lord in ministry over at Westminster. He'll call us in a few moments here to let us know the activities that he's doing. So many great things happening. And they always happen around Thanksgiving time. Our community is a giving community. I've never known this place to not be a place that gives. I don't know if it's because we have so many collegiate students here that we know are hungry, or if we just know that we have so many neighbors that are hungry. But we have always, in my 20-some-odd years of living here, actually going on 30, always been a giving community. We've always had the mindset that no one could be left behind. So I want to give a special shout out at the top of the radio show to all of the efforts that are happening this week, the many turkey giveaways, the many food basket giveaways, the many churches engaged in giveaways, the many organizations, Second Harvest and WTXL, the thousands upon thousands of turkeys that have been given away, and the folks who have woken up 3-4 o'clock in the morning waiting on these drive-through giveaways. Listen, we're in a time of great need, and I know that sometimes we have the mindset that everybody is in need, but there are some folks in our community that have tremendous need. You may be in need, but the need that you represent may not be a need that's living in your car, or a need that's living at our local shelters, or a need that's hidden at the doorposts and the doorsteps of our local churches, just pleading and begging for help for families. So just know that the need is out there for everyone stepping up individually. Marche Catering, shout out to you and the efforts that you individually have done. The DJ Daps and the DJ Dimps and all of the folks in this community that understand the assignment that we are a giving community. I want to give the first couple minutes of this show out to shout you out and to say thank you. And to all of you who I haven't named, because there are many folks that are doing things right now. They're out in the street. They're pulling up their grill. They're pulling out their griddles. They're bringing pans to the corners. Listen, this is a giving community, and that's why it's a blessed community. And so whatever's going on in the media, whatever's going on the airwaves, that happen, national confusion, whatever's happening in the media space, just know that in reality, this is a giving and a blessed community. And there are so many examples of that here locally. And that's the theme of today's show. If you're tuning in again, please post, tag, and share. This broadcast is currently live streaming right off of Hallelujah 95.3 FM's web Facebook page. You can also listen live online. It's streaming on the radio site online. And of course, you can listen to it on the radio, which many of you do, and we appreciate that. Hopefully we'll get a call in a little bit from Pastor James, who's out at Westminster handing out food and doing Thanksgiving dinner with the governor's office, and that's tremendous as well. So we look forward to having him call in and give us an update on what's happening out there. But today I really want to make sure that you understand that we have some powerhouse guests in the house. And these are more than titles. These are servant leaders that have utilized titles to be a blessing. And again, we all do that on some level, but it's one thing when you're given a title. It's another thing when you're empowering the title to replicate and to further and emphasize the blessing that is necessary and that is needed in this community. So we are so glad to have you all here and listening. Please tune in because we're going to have call to action at the end of the broadcast. So with that being said, we are 7 minutes into the show. We're going to take a quick break here and wait and see if we can get a call in from Pastor James, get an update from him, and then we're going to bring on our guests so we can go on with our conversation for the day. Thank y'all for tuning in. Please post and share and get ready. All right, y'all. Listen.
Hey.
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 How are you? Oh, good, brother. Good. All right, so listen, I'm setting the tone here so that people can respond.
Right.
Because that's what we need. We need people to listen to this and to respond. So I'm going to go right into it after I bring y'all on because you need no introduction, but I'm going to give you my special introduction, my family introduction.
All right.
Like by introducing my cousin Milton. So, who happened to be a commissioner.
Family, huh?
Okay, listen. And that's what I love about here. I absolutely have always loved that.
Yeah, me too. But you know, you and Daryl Jones, everybody's y'all's family. Everybody is your best friend. Everybody.
Oh,
I love
goodness.
that. I love it.
Hey, listen, the spirit recognizes the spirit, right? And that's the blessing of it. We ain't got to make that happen at all.
Right.
God goes before and makes it happen. We're grateful for that. All right,
I
y'all.
need to
We
perk
back
up.
on?
Oh, I'm tired. I just said
Okay.
that
We're back on?
Yeah.
All right. Excellent. Hey, y'all. We are back. Again, if you're tuning in, you're listening to the Greg James Community Show. I ain't Greg James, y'all, but I am a delightful and grateful standing in the gap for the radio broadcast while he's out doing the great work of community out at Westminster. Maybe we'll have him call in and give us a little tidbit of what he's doing out there in the community. Is he on? Okay, he's on the phone. All right. Hey, Pastor James, how you doing? Listen, I think we are all just grateful. I think we all have cause to be grateful. But you're out there doing the good work in Westminster. Tell us what you out there doing.
One of the things that we're doing over in Western, here about the board this afternoon, but getting a partnership with Louis Edwards, the Recreation School, is on their way to this house. And today we were able to bring her to keys and provide her
Oh, wow.
a gift card so that she can go to all the shopping she needs. She's spent the last 2 months inside the hotel. But here's the beautiful part about this, that this is rewarding for me and so many others, is the fact that you is cleaning up other people's rooms, making other people's beds with a single mom of 2 kids, and yet she's waiting on housing, waiting on the opportunity to move in. So to be able to do that for her was beyond a gracious moment. And certainly I'm grateful for some of the partners that helped make us do the work that we're doing. Hope Florida, our lady Sanchez, allocated funding to make sure that, whatever some of the needs are in our community, we were able to do. I'm grateful for that. So today is a great day for her because she had no idea when these people gave you a year of joy. And that's what it's all about. I know you got some amazing guests with you today.
I'll have some absolutely amazing guests, and I want to make sure I end cap this. So this lady who did not have a place to stay was serving others And then you were able, out of the abundance of partnership, to be able to serve her housing need, which is a critical need in our community for many in terms of accessibility and affordability. And you were able with partnerships to curate housing for, that's huge. That's a big deal to celebrate. I'm looking at one of my guests shake his head because he understands what it is to house people who are vulnerable, who don't have access to housing. That's
I mean, you know, the thing about it is, the home that she's going into, Carolina United Methodist, they fully furnished it over again, and I think that if we can get our churches to unite, if we can get all of our churches on one accord, I mean, can you imagine what we can do, shout out to them over at Delta for the great work that he's doing, but if we can get our churches on one accord, we can alleviate some of the housing issues that we're facing. Because it's nothing for us to collaborate to make this happen. So today is a great day for her, and then on Black Friday, open at the Circle K on South Monroe and Orange Avenue. We're probably going to serve about 200 people with free gas. I know Black Friday is
Free gas.
going to stores looking for discounts. Well, because our project is called Gratitude and Goodness, we're going to get gas a part of that on Friday at 8 a.m. over at the Circle K on the south side to me.
awesome. Awesome. Well, listen, I want to make sure that you're able to call in and talk about the good work that you're doing. Shouts out to Goodness Outreach and the executive director, Talithia Edwards, in trying to fill in the gap. And that's what today's show is about, filling in the gaps. And there are so many people experiencing the gap. So we thank you for calling and giving us that insight. I think it's right in line with the spirit of today's show. And we'll stay up to date, and we'll tune in to Doc D's show to hear more about the gas raffle that gas giveaway that you guys are doing on Friday.
We're going to be over here in the car, feeding, enjoying, conversating. So stop by. We're going to be there from 2 to about 5. And Alicia, she's there. We're going to have a great time celebrating the family. So y'all enjoy the day and stop out with everyone on the show is doing some amazing things. Our school board member, Derek Jones, our county commissioner, Nick Maddox, and our former city manager, and the favorite. You guys are amazing show, so I'm still here.
Absolutely. Thank you, Pastor James. And we will check back in a little bit later. If you're listening to the show today, hey, thank y'all for tuning in. Thank you for commenting. We got some of y'all commenting on the StreamYard, and many of y'all comment directly, but we want to get right into the topic of the day, which is critical for this season, lifting vulnerable families during the holiday season. And the focus today is going to be on a particular catalytic event that happens in the community. But I want to rear back and say that there are so many people doing so many amazing, you can't talk about all of them, but we're going to talk about one of them today. All right. So I want to welcome today. I'm having a family conversation a little bit, y'all. So if it gets a little bit into the vernacular, charge it to my heart and not to my grasp of grammar. These folks are special folks to me, have connection. We all have connection. Tallahassee is a fairly nepotistic town anyway. So everybody's family. But I want to just bring on, first of all, I always call her a mother and a mentor, Miss Anita Favors, who is our former city manager for the city of Tallahassee, but so much more than that. She's a living example of what we should aspire to in our perspective of how we activate in servant leadership in the community, because it really is a discipline. And it really is a mindset, right?
Oh, absolutely.
It's a mindset. And can you just share with folks, as a leader of a city, an administrator of a city, what does it mean to have active people that say, hey, we're going to fill in this gap. We're not going to come to the city. We're not going to come to the county. We're going to work our collective resources to fill in this gap.
Right. That's the kind of place we live in. We are all so fortunate to be in Tallahassee, Florida. I used to think that I I made a decision on my own when I came to Tallahassee, but I wasn't here for 6 months before I knew for certain that God led me here for a purpose, and that I was supposed to be here for a while
Yes.
to carry out that purpose, even in retirement, which has been 10 years, if you can believe that.
10 years.
That's it.
It has been 10 years. I saw it on Facebook, and I said, what? Facebook is wrong.
Right. Yeah, I posted it. I sure did.
I looked back and said 10 years because I've never stopped, for one thing.
That's right.
And there's so much to do. There was always so much to do.
Yes.
People need help and resources. And now we are in a circumstance, not just in our community, but all over the country, where, as you were saying earlier, needs have always been there, but the
Yes.
needs are profound right now. And what we have to do as people who care about this community and the people who live in it, we have to step up. We have to donate more, not just adopt one child like we've done in the past. We have to donate, and we have to volunteer, and we have to be there for the people of the community.
Listen to me. And fitting, I'm just gonna keep on carrying over. Daryl Jones, who I've known for a long time, a very long
I
time.
was her teacher.
He was my first teacher when he was teaching small business development at the Smith Williams Service Center.
Oh, wow. I didn't know
My
that.
husband and I graduated from his class.
Wow.
All right, way back then, and just have been a staunch, and we've been in business for 23 years.
Yeah.
If that gives anybody context,
Right.
we've been in business that long. And Daryl, you have carried forward that energy of instruction, of consistency, and of influential strategy
Mhm.
into every space that you have been in, and you apply it very consistently and very intentionally to what you call catering to the vulnerable. Can you explain that a little bit?
Well,
You're deliciously proud.
I am deliciously proud to be here with family, like you said. And the whole notion that we should cater to the vulnerable was born of my, and I believe our shared faith walk. We realize that scripture is indeed clear. To whom much is given, much is required, right?
Mhm.
Both our time, our talent, our treasures, our perspective, our values. And when we bring that collectively to meet the needs, for me, most specifically, children and families, I know the impact that will have. And as a school board member, catering to the vulnerable is most critical, because we realize that an unlearned and not adequately educated society creates cyclical poverty. We realize that a quality education, in spite of where you're born, what zip code you're born, what your parents do for a living, a quality education can help to write a family that they can have the types of careers that earn a living wage. So when we cater to those vulnerable families, and we cater to moms and dads and working class parents, bringing the resources, the wealth of resources found in our community, both government as well as private, and catering to the vulnerable, it makes a difference and improves the quality of life for our children.
And you've carried that philosophy. I think this is for people who don't understand who you are, because I think you get lost in thinking that people are just out there, just visible with no strategy in mind.
Mhm.
But you carried that same consistent message into every space that you've occupied. You carried it into now your deputy directorship with our city's Office of Economic Vitality, which dovetails so great into that conversation. You've carried it into your service as a school board member representing District 3, and now you're carrying it into your position as a chair with the Children's Service Council. And I think people need to understand philosophy, right? Because then they'll understand actions. If you understand someone's base philosophy, and catering to the vulnerable, from what I understand, leads into Nick's service even, right? And you go through levels of this, but you switch from a mentality of serving or giving to the vulnerable, and you're actually it speaks of intentionality. I'm not just giving them what I think they need. I'm listening, I'm watching, I'm seeing what the systems are of this, so that I can engineer my actions to break cycles and not just put a band-aid on situations. You are in the position of the chief executive officer of Family Promise, and one of our longest running and longest serving county commissioners. So you have a purview of over a decade, in terms of watching government, in terms of seeing how things work, but also seeing how issues have progressed over the years, and maybe seeing how some issues, because of the approach, weren't able to be addressed in the relevant way because it didn't have that mindset of catering and listening and intentionally serving in a way that breaks cycles. Can you speak to that and to the position that you currently have and how Family Promise, because you went through a brand change, it used to be Hope Community,
Right.
and why?
Yeah.
That's right, and why? Why was that necessary? Maybe that can be added to your answer as well.
I think you hit the nail on the head. A lot of times we give what we think we want people to have
Right.
instead of listening to what they need and giving them just that. A lot of times, especially when it comes to volunteering and donations, whether it be monetary or not, it's well, this is what I have spare to give. You know, sometimes, and I tell every time I step in front of a group who's looking to do something monetary for Family Promise of the Big Bend, I always tell them, you know, this money that you give will help us to provide for our families, but more than that, you showing up and actually listening and actually hearing what those folks need is more important than any monetary gift that you could actually give. And so I think that you know, one piece of this toy drive that we're here to talk about is the collecting of the toys. But when we have the celebration at the we're doing it at the Monroe, there'll be no children there. There'll be us.
There'll be us.
You know?
Right.
But more effective is when we actually give away the toys.
Right.
When we go to Springfield, when we go to Orange Avenue, when they come to Family Promise or Hope Community, and they actually give the toys out to our children and the cars to their families, to be able to have the community there to actually see people, look them in the eye and tell them that they're here for them means even more. Big Bend Homeless Coalition became Family Promise because we wanted to emphasize the fact that we are there for families. What most people don't know is that Kearney Center is a homeless shelter specifically for individuals. CCYS serves youth. Family Promise serves families and also veterans with our SSVF programming. And so we thought that better fit for the national platform, Family Promise, for us to change our name. But I think if anything, I wanted to get the message out today. It would be around listening. It's like you said it. Listen. You know, it does so much to hear, to listen to what someone says. That type of listening where you're actively listening and giving back to them based off what they need. Those are the types of things that give people hope. It's not we just place something in their hands. When you actually listen to their story and understand what they need and give them exactly what they need, that's what gives hope.
And I would say this, one of the important things about Anita, right, as we had this conversation about affordable housing, it was more than 25 years ago that the Bethel AME Church moved from Frenchtown to Orange Ave, where Anita's a member. We weren't arrogant about having an impact on the quality of the lives of the people who lived in the shadow of the church. Anita and others, and Charles Evans and so many others, went to our neighbors and asked them what did they want. And our neighbors said, we want a solution to the drug problem.
Yes.
We want programs for our children. We want quality housing. So we created the Bethel CDC. She was the deputy city manager at the time. I'm holding her hand because I want to talk about her ministry, right? Here, armed with what the community wanted, she then was able to partner with the church, with the local city government, to award us with grants, and we were able to build, hear it now, more than 150 units of affordable housing in Bond, Appalachian Ridge, Providence, because we listened to our neighbors. We then used other partners to equip our neighbors to qualify for down payment assistance, and we were able to build homes that people might see the glory of the Lord right now in the land of the living. But that's when we talk about what is our collective faith. When faith persons, this isn't a job for Nick, this is ministry. It's not a job for her, it's ministry. It's ministry for all of us. And that's how you have impact. And that's why when you look at your neighbor, not as a burden, but as an obligation to serve them and to cater to them and actively listen to them, that's when you make a difference.
That's right. That's right.
We'll take the opportunity too. We talked about it briefly. He spoke about it, but let's celebrate Greg. what he's doing today.
Absolutely.
Right before a holiday, you put
Yes.
someone into a home.
Yes.
You know, that's huge.
That means
Right.
a
You
great
know, you
deal.
know,
That fully furnished home.
A fully
Right.
furnished home.
Right,
You don't know what it means to have a home
right.
until you don't have it.
Right.
Oh my God.
What does it do for someone? What does it do
Oh my
for a
God.
child? What does it do for an
Right.
adult? What does it do for someone to know that they have a home to go to that's theirs?
Mm-hmm.
That they get to manage the way they want to manage. They don't have to worry about somebody putting them out. They don't have to worry about someone telling them they're coming in too late. No, you get to go to your own home. Greg James, what you did today was you gave hope and you changed a life. That's pretty good.
But that's through the power of connection, right?
It is.
And I think that it speaks to the necessity of us to lay down our own egos and lift up the power of connection. Because if I can't call you
Right,
to talk about what somebody needs, if I can't call you
Right.
to discuss what resources you may have, or if you have a hand pushing me away from what God has blessed you with
right.
to distribute to community, then you are not only not serving God, but you ain't serving nobody but yourself.
Right.
And I think it's important to also spotlight that this was, I'm assuming this was done, and y'all need to correct me on the internet if this was done in Maryland Crossing. I think it's Maryland Oaks, a community of Good News Outreach.
Yes.
And I think it's also important to speak to what you said earlier with the Bethel homes that were built. I know what it means for somebody to buy a house when they can afford it.
Right.
It's a huge catalytic event for somebody who
It
can
is.
afford it.
It is.
So to provide someone housing when they cannot,
Right.
I know a lady bought a Bethel house in foreclosure at $99,000,
Mhm.
and that was about 5 years ago. And now that house is valued at about $197,000.
I'm sure it is.
She's in the quote unquote hood, but she's
Right.
experiencing value because the house she received
Right.
was well built
Right.
enough to stand the test of
And
time and
that's
to
how
accumulate
you-
value.
and
That's how you break
end
it.
That's it.
cyclical
That's it.
poverty.
That's how you
by
break it.
making
That's it.
through economic development. And economic development
Come on now.
manifests in a variety
Right.
of ways. And that's why it's critically important that folks like us are in constant conversation, how we move people from homelessness to are accessing other resources where they build the family. That's how you cater to the
That's
vulnerable.
how
You
you-
listen to them
that's how you do it.
along the way, and you identify other partners who are well-intended, who come with resources, and then you move them from homelessness to home ownership. And that we've seen that happen.
Right. And Reverend James was here earlier.
Yeah.
He talked about the partnership and the fact that that Talithia was able to talk to him about this
Mhm.
particular woman who had been living in a hotel, 2 children, not really even thinking about what she needed to do for herself, but serving other people. She worked works at Westminster, what's it called? Westminster Oaks, yes.
Mhm.
And she was just continuing to work and try to make ends meet.
Come on
And
now.
they came together to try to help this lady get a home. And they just did it today.
That's awesome.
That's how
Yes,
advocacy
it
happens.
is.
And I'm a
It
Baptist
is.
listener, y'all. So if y'all hear me doing a lot of and amen, and that's my rate. I know I'm in a room full of AME folk, but I am a Baptist listener, all right? Listen to me.
I'm reformed.
We praise the Lord too.
And I know you do. I know you do. I know you do. But I'm telling you, it's just amazing. And I think that's why it's important to talk about this toy drive today, because it's an aspect of the mindset. And let's talk about why and how this can, because even that is crazy, right? Even that is just a move, a mighty move of consciousness coming together and saying, let's figure this out and let's make it happen. And it's been how long?
15 years.
Tell the story.
I love telling the story. Right? So Brenda Williams, our president,
Yes.
retiring but still compelling president and CEO of the Tallahassee Housing Authority, was new to our town. When she first got to town, Anita and I threw a reception because she was the director. We wanted to welcome her because we knew the impact that her work had on 3 sites, as well as all those people who were on Section 8.
Yes.
And we wanted to let her know that she had folks.
Yes.
So we threw a reception for her, and she stayed here for the holiday. And Anita had us all at her house for Thanksgiving.
Mm.
And we're sitting around. And Brenda's new to town,
Yes.
and so her son Ahmad was working at Orange Avenue, and we sat there and said, "Well, we need to do something for those kids. A lot of those kids don't have a Christmas." So we get on the phone.
Right. And this is a casual
Casual conversation
among
at
friends.
her dinner table,
Casual.
Thanksgiving,
Mhm.
and
Daryl was barely awake. He had already eaten.
That turkey ain't got to
Yeah.
it, man. Look,
Then
it's
he-
scientifically
You
proven.
know, he
Okay?
piped up. He
Yeah.
piped up.
Yes.
and next thing you know, we started making phone calls, and that was the first year of our tour drive.
But let me clue in on something
But it
here.
started at her dinner table.
And a key piece of this is that Ahmad was working there.
Yeah,
He was there.
right. He had just started working there.
And so he saw the need.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Absolutely.
And his vision and his sight
It was
was
his
brought to
vision.
the,
Right.
okay.
Right.
But
And
it was his
Brenda,
vision.
and Brenda, who was willing to take that extra step that had never been taken before.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then
Yes.
I got on the phone and I called everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody.
And we raised all the money we needed. We had a
Right.
big party, and the people bought toys. I called a hospital. The
Yes.
hospital gave us 25 bikes. We called
Right.
Dave and Lily Thomas, who were building the homes for
Yes.
CDC.
Right.
Mhm.
They bought 25 bikes. We
Yes.
called Sean Pittman, who's a good friend of ours.
Mhm.
He bought 20. And next thing you knew, we had something. And I got to give a shout out. Now, although the idea was ours, we've seen this already manifest in Frenchtown, Springfield with Steve Beasley.
Okay.
Yes,
so
yes,
yes,
yes, yes, yes.
But and Soul Center brought the entire community together.
That's
Mr.
right.
Beasley and
He
what
did.
he did in those
That's
Frenchtown
good.
business
For
owners
years.
was huge.
Mm-hmm.
Here now we got a chance to do something, a microcosm of that
Right.
on the south side. And it started in Orange Ave. And next thing you know, here years later, we work collaboratively with Soul Santa and
Right.
make certain that all children are served. So we've got our communities of need in our mind, and we're working to. So we have several events.
Mm-hmm.
We do it at Orange Avenue, we do it at Springfield, but out of that came his example and the inspiration of her son made what we're doing now 15 years later possible.
I think it's so important to clue in because now it's expanding,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
So we're serving the communities, that specifically the communities that are under THA's public housing rubric and framework.
And then,
And
then I
now,
got elected.
Right.
then you got elected.
I got
Right.
elected, so
Right.
then we
Title I.
we added our Title I schools on the
Mhm.
south side.
Right.
Right. Then of course,
Right.
right, my
Family promise.
family promise.
Which is a relic.
Yes. And you know what? Your comment earlier about this community and how gracious it is.
Yes.
You really can't find a more gracious community. People step up, just like Daryl was just describing all of the people, you look up and you ask somebody for a bike and they bring 25.
Mm.
That's
a
the
truck
kind.
up.
Yes,
Yes. Yes, and that's what they do.
Right.
Y'all had a truck and
Right.
people brought the truck,
Right.
filled up the truck. But I think also you knew what you needed.
Yeah.
I think that is so important. And when people are giving, because sometimes if you don't instruct people on what to give, then they'll
Right.
bring what they
They
think.
think.
So
just
it
like
goes
you were
back
saying.
into the
Mhm.
listening to
Mhm.
folk and being
Yeah.
very intentional about it. Brenda sends out a list with age segments on it
Yeah.
so that you'll know what to bring for what age range.
Hold on, but let's not stop there. We added a component of overcoats.
Yes,
And
sure
whose
did.
suggestion? Whose suggestion, Christy? Who suggested overcoats? I do believe it was you who suggested that we.
See, look, she doesn't even remember. She just
That we would
just
also
natural.
make certain that our kids had overcoats, because
Right.
as we were making that transition, we wanted to make certain that as we're thinking about toys, kids are going to school and they need proper. Anita, again, we're talking about adding to, and as it expanded, we then reached out to all the lady sororities, right?
Mm.
And they would adopt families because
Yeah.
what we knew and Brenda knew was that Brenda had grandparents
Mm.
who were raising 6
Yes,
and 7
yes.
children.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Right? So we would have the AKAs, the Deltas, the Charmettes, the Jack and Jills, the Lynx would all adopt a family, and we would give them an exhaustive list of things, clothes and other items that they needed for the holidays, right? So that they could be served, right? But again, it just continued to morph, and it was again more about catering to the vulnerable.
Yeah.
Then when we added Family Promise and the Big Ben, what they needed was entirely different.
Mm.
Nick told us what
Right.
he needed for his list.
Mhm.
So a lot of the families there, if you can imagine, they're in transition. So the toys and stuff like that is not as important as
Right.
gift cards that they may be able to go out and purchase things
Yes.
as they get ready to transition into their own homes. And so last year I think it was about $2,000 in gift cards that were given to the families for them to be able to go shopping for their children, things they may need for housing. I tell you though, when I was listening, what occurred to me is that being known as an economically segregated county and city, the one important thing I think people miss in all of this is we're able to pull, and I give a lot of credit to Daryl Jones and Anita Favors on this. We're able to pull resources from everywhere else in the county to give to the most vulnerable.
Mhm.
And y'all said it earlier, you don't get to see that a lot in big places. But in Tallahassee, our folks are so generous
Yes.
that they pull those resources from the haves to give to the have-nots. The thing that I think that I would like for us to really focus on this year, and you said the call to action for me, is to continue to diversify the organizations and the businesses that give to this cause is going to benefit so many that need in our most vulnerable areas. The businesses, if you're listening, that and you know of them, that traditionally or that have not been given, that may not look like us.
Yes.
That may not
Yes.
they may not do things in the areas where we are.
Right.
Those are the ones I want to pull to the table.
Mhm.
But more importantly, like I talked about earlier, those are the ones I like to show up when we're giving those gifts away. Earlier this year, Mataki Akbar, myself, and Daryl Jones did a fundraiser for TMH during homecoming,
Mhm.
and I think during that, it's about pulling organizations who traditionally really haven't been known to be in our areas, having them come to us,
Right.
Yes.
see what we do.
That was a beautiful
You know,
event.
and showing them that, hey, if you come to us, we'll accept you.
Yes.
And this is another opportunity for those organizations to do just that. So Family Promise is excited to be a part of it. I think Daryl and Anita and those who originated this for bringing our families in. But I think it's a great cause. It's a great thing to see our community come together and serve those who are the most in need.
So let's, because we know that there's over 400 families that are served by the original annual toy drive event. We know there's over 400. There's 220 youth that get gift cards that are given gift cards every year. I want to make it plain for the folks that are listening. How many families do you host or shelter at Family Promise of the Big Bend?
I think last year we helped over 150 families.
150 families during this time of the year?
No. This
Okay,
is,
just-
so at any given time we can have 30 to 40 families
Okay.
at Family Promise. 65% of our population is children. So you can imagine one mom might come in there and have 3 or 4 kids. Right?
Yeah.
We have 36 dwellings within our facility at Family Promise or at the Hope facility. But some of those are outside. So we have PSH folks who are permanent supportive housing that may live in housing authority properties. We have our veterans that may live in our veteran properties. And so when you add that to the table, we're talking about maybe 100, 150 different families and individuals that benefit off of these kind of causes that have children. So.
As we look through this, and if you're just listening, we are talking about a tremendous catalytic toy drive event that is hosted by our local leaders, catalyzed through a sense of filling in the gap and making sure that all families this holiday season arrive at the end of the year in gratitude, thanks to the generosity of our community. I want to dial in on something that you said earlier about corporate presence. Because when you look at larger metros, larger cities, Tallahassee is a mid-metro, right? We're not small, but we ain't Orlando, right?
Right.
And usually in communities like that, you have significant corporate presence.
Absolutely.
So when we talk about that, people are doing this, we're not lying.
Right.
People are
Individuals.
people and collective organizations and entities.
Yeah.
This ain't corporate. This
Right.
is folk going into their piggy bank
Right.
and literally saying, hey, I'm gonna handle this. I'm gonna do this. Daryl, with your experience digging in and facilitating and really truly advocating for small businesses in the community, how does this move forward based upon what Nick has said in terms of diversifying the base of patrons and sponsors and donors to this event?
Well, I think it's all about communication,
Okay.
right? And because we are a loving community. I mean, it may sound cliche that we're an all-American city, but it's that all-American values of helping our neighbors, that we are responsible for the quality of life of the people who live next door to us.
Yes.
We can share a cup of sugar, whether it's right next door or across town, if sugar's what you need. And so here now, think about this. We go to our business community, right? And we make them aware. It has helped us with this campaign, and it's helped us with the adoption of our schools.
Mhm.
We've been able to move the needle. When I got elected, right, 8 years ago, most of the schools in my district were F's, D's, and C's,
That's
right?
right.
Now they're A's, B's, and C's. Why? One, because of the great leaders we had, but we took our voice to the community and said, the crisis that we're dealing with belongs to all of us, and we've got to solve it together.
That's right.
So subsequently, the business community started to give. They adopted every kindergarten classroom in our Title I schools, right? Well, here now we ask the same thing during the holidays. Those same children, let's make certain that they enjoy the joy of the holiday season.
Right.
Let's make sure that they go back to school well clothed, that they don't have to worry about being, because all of those things and a improper mindset are all barriers to learning.
Mhm.
We want our children to have the best life possible, to dream widely and broadly,
Mhm.
right? And to be able to mitigate what we know are those disparities that exist from one community to
Yes.
another. And our community weighing in together, our businesses, our churches, our sororities, our fraternities, our temples, our lodges, when they all are on the same page supporting Title I schools, Title I children who are found across our community, that's what's made the difference. And that's why this event continues to grow and expand.
Christy,
Let
I
me
just
say
think-
this, okay, go
I
ahead.
just didn't say it because he might cry.
See, we're about to say
And-
the same thing. We're about to say the
But
same
The
thing.
one common thread and all of
Right.
that, the catalyst,
Yes.
is Daryl Jones.
Absolutely.
And that if you look at what he's been able to do as a school board member, I think he's a model. He's able to use his gravitas and the connections that he has to those businesses to bring resources to his
Right,
school.
and he is so diligent
Yeah.
and persistent, and he does not let up.
Mhm.
And anybody he's dealing with knows that he's gonna come back, and he's
Mhm.
gonna keep it going.
That's right.
The teachers and principals in our school district, we've always had talented teachers and principals.
Yes.
And they work really hard
Yes, they
in
do.
these schools, but they haven't had the support that they have now. They know that they have a cheerleader that supports them and nurtures them and will show up on their
Yes.
doorstep at any given time when they need something. And that makes a difference. It is motivational, it's
Mhm.
inspirational. It gives them something to look forward to. And I'm just really proud of these D and F schools
Yes.
are now A and B.
Table Palm. Hey.
Title I schools.
Yes.
I'm just so delighted to see that. And that benefits our community,
Yes, it does.
our entire community.
It increases
And to put
the
a bow on it,
value.
to put a
Yes.
bow on it, none of it's done for his own glory.
Mm.
I think every day when he goes out and he does it to make his grandmother proud. Of no longer here.
Yes. Oh,
He
now
does
you
it to
really
make
are
his
gonna make
friends
them
and
cry.
family proud who look at him as leader that he is. It has nothing to do with him, trying to be a star, him trying to be more. No, it's so much bigger than that for him. And we're blessed as a community to have a Daryl Jones in our community that can do it the way he does it. Because I'm telling you, even myself, I can say I don't think I have what he has that brings the connections that he has outside of the hood,
Yeah.
that brings those resources into the hood. I mean, who can be on the board of TMH, the board of the trustees, the board of the symphony, and other boards that he's on, and then at the same time be able to have this toy drive, and they trust him enough to bring their resources to the most vulnerable as all. So that connector that he is something that every community needs.
Right.
I think it's important. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just thinking, one of the questions that you indicated that you wanted us to speak to is what unusual or momentous kind of thing do
Yes.
we remember about some of the kind
Yes,
of things over the
yes,
years?
yes.
Let me tell you
The
what
stories.
Yeah, while we talk, we can't tell all the stories.
Not all of them. Okay.
One of the things, oh my God, one of the things that I certainly recall is it must have been the first or second year of the toy party. And it was we had the toy party, we had all the gifts, we were at Orange Avenue giving away the toys. Daryl was Santa Claus.
Yes. Yes, he was.
And in probably the 15th, 16th of December, or whatever in Tallahassee, it was still hot as heck. And Daryl would wear this hot Santa Claus suit. And so sometimes Santa was not always smiling. Santa was hot. But on one of these days, he'd come in grumpy, hot, everything else. And here's a line going down Orange Avenue of people waiting to come in.
Now he's at the Orange Avenue apartment, not the Columbia Garden at South. This is the
Orange
Orange.
Avenue.
Okay, I want to put
Orange
some
Avenue.
context on. Okay, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And here comes one little child who came and sat on Santa's lap. I don't know what that baby said to Daryl, but Daryl started crying. The tears started running down his face. And I went over there, I said, Daryl.
No, hit me.
I said, Santa cannot cry. I said, you cannot sit here. These kids are looking like fucking
And I wouldn't let her
What that girl said, she going on a naughty list.
I was holding on to it, I wouldn't let her go.
Oh my goodness.
So
Santa can cry.
this is what I got. I got the pinch.
Yeah.
And she grabbed my arm and pinched the skin. And I finally let the little girl go.
I let her go. Let the baby go. And the baby was from one of the families
Yeah.
within the community. I think it's important that people can sit down
She
with.
must have said, thank you, Santa.
She said, I love you. She said,
She said, I love you, Santa. And she did love Santa. And she saw a black Santa that looked like somebody in her family. Y'all don't understand the depth of these things, okay? Look, she wasn't looking at no Ruben cheek Santa. She was looking at a chocolate kiss Santa.
I was set aside 15
Yeah, honey, you gotta get some implements this year.
Yeah, I gotta use pad now,
Okay, yes
girl.
you do. Yes you do. But I think that's so important to reflect on those mirrors because some of the things I remember and the thing about
And you
the
live
drive.
the entire time, Christine.
Yeah, and coming to all of it, right? Because you had to come to see what you
Yes.
committed to. You had to come to see what you
Right.
contributed to.
Right.
And so it's a process, right? You
Right.
come and you give the toys at the big party,
Right.
you look cute, you take pictures,
Right.
see everybody, right? It
Right.
be seen.
Mhm.
And then you
The
get another
giveaway.
email
The giveaway.
and you're given an opportunity to come to the giveaway.
Right.
And your spirit got to be different at the giveaway.
Absolutely.
Your spirit got to be there to fill in the gaps.
That's right.
Whether it be through distribution, whether it be just smiling at people.
Right.
You don't come there looking down at nobody. You don't come there acting like you come there because you know that those folks need a touch of authentic inspiration.
And it's a
hope.
blessing to be there.
Woo!
It is a blessing to be there.
Honey, we have a very special community. This toy drive again, there's a lot of them, right? And they're all, I'm gonna say they're all done with the same spirit. But this has been done with such precision and so consistently for 15 years. It's a tradition at this point. And I really want to hone in on this because I want to talk about what it takes to really take the work and systemize it beyond, right? Because at some point there's a beyond, right? I'm an advocate and I'm a figurehead and I'm a person still here, just like the city. You left your legacy, but you left. You
Yes.
right. You retired. You retired.
Eventually, we all do.
We all do.
Right.
Not saying that you ain't
Right.
busy now, because goodness knows
Right.
retirement
Right.
what? Retirement well.
Right.
But talk about legacy. Talk about how you sustain this type of impact over time, right? How do you do it beyond you? How do you activate the next generation of leadership? Because this has to be taught. I'm just gonna be put. That's got to be taught.
It does. Have to be.
It has to be taught because it's not just a process and a distribute. It's a spirit. It's a my pastor like to say orthodoxy leads to orthopraxy. You got to understand the why. You got to understand the source of the why in order to carry forth the spirit of what you're doing, not just what you're doing. Talk about that, because I think that we're in a space where we need to have this conversation on the community
It's
level.
crazy to ask that question. Just yesterday, I received a message in my inbox on Facebook, messenger from a young lady who is now 37 years old. And she said to me, she remembered when I helped her pick toys as a football player at Florida State 17 years ago.
Wow.
And she said, there's just not much of that going on anymore. But I can tell you now, I got 2 kids myself, but I remember that day.
Right.
You and Chris Riggs and Greg Jones and Acorn Boat. I remember we all went to Target. We met y'all at Target, and y'all, they locked the store up, and y'all took us Christmas shopping.
Right.
And I think that's, you ask what it takes. It takes leaders who are willing to teach the ones that come after. Good to Great, one of the best books I ever read, talks about the fact of you're a good leader if you're able to sustain a movement and create a movement and grow a movement while you're there.
Right.
You're a great leader if once you're gone, it continues to grow.
Absolutely.
So you know, Daryl Jones, Nita Favors, you know, done it forever, right? But it gets to a point, like you said, hey, we got to be able to hand it off to somebody else. What does that next generation of Daryl Jones look like? What does that next generation of Nita Favors? What does that next generation of now Nick Madison? I'm saying that. What does that look like as we move forward? Because we won't be always be here to do it. And so I think to have the younger generation who are interested in stuff like this come to you and say, hey, I want to be a part of that. But more so than that, because when they're a part of it, you're able to see who has that potential, who has the heart to take it to the next level.
Right.
I'm sure you had mentors that when you first started in real estate that saw something in you enough that you were able to build on top of what they had, right? I look at Anita Favors and what she was able to do, and honestly, I try to model myself as a county commissioner after what I saw her do as a city manager. And so having those types of people that you're able to see that want to be involved, be able to see that potential, and then you invest in that potential is the way you keep things like this going.
Right.
If we just simply do the work and don't build behind us, this will die.
But what is also critically important is that we serve these vulnerable populations beyond the holiday.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not lost on, the scripture's clear. All things work together for good for those who love him and are called according to his purpose. It's not lost on me that we are all, as you described, family. We are all interconnected. I sit on the school board, true enough, but it's also my responsibility to make certain that resources throughout the school year are made available for his young people at Family Promise. The flip side of that, as a county commissioner, he is very much aware of the challenges that my children deal with in terms of being having safe sidewalks to walk on to get to school.
Right.
But they're not walking alongside the ditch or alongside gravel to get to schools that they're safe, and that the street that they're walking on is well lit when they got to go to school early in the morning. Right? That type of intentionality. And then Anita, we are all her heirs. We consider ourselves, because we look at our work in a way such that we can collaborate.
Yes.
That there is an intersectionality in his areas of responsibility and mine, and where we are able to serve what we describe our shared constituencies.
That's right.
That is what we have excelled at as brothers, best friends, as men, as heirs of who see ourselves as a part of a greater picture.
Yes.
Right? That intentionality that is born of what we know as ministry that we do unto him.
Amen.
And let me just say a word about Miss Christie. When we knew each other long before, but when she was president of Kona,
That's right.
We ended up, first of all, that was one of the first years that Kona really got involved in the community, not just for individual neighborhood, but a big organizational effort was put forward. And of course, Christie was leading it. And I can't remember what the issue was, but something came up and
trash.
Yes, that's what it was.
The trash one.
Okay, you tell the story. You tell the
trash. Now look, this to all the listeners out there who don't know how to be corrected by your elders, this is for you, all right? Because you gotta be correctable. That's how you form family.
Right.
All right, you gotta be teachable. And there was a meeting where we had it could have gotten into a very volatile conversation.
Right.
And some of the folks at the meeting came there choosing violence. And so because only had monthly
Right.
town hall meetings
Right.
and we addressed issues and helped to shape ordinance. It was a fantastic gateway for community serving leadership. But I was called to the city manager office because other people chose violence.
Yeah.
So
We had to have a contingency.
we had and so now
And
listen,
that
hear me
goes.
well, hear me well. Miss Anita, she sat down. We and I knew her now. It ain't like I did not know who she
Right.
was. I knew who she was. Okay, she was in my life. But these folks, because they chose violence and they chose to try to come up against her staff. This is important. Come up against her staff. She had to deal with me because it was my organization. It was
Right.
my meeting, right? It was our meeting, but it was me. I was in charge. And so she said,
Listen,
after we had a conversation that was it wasn't at all awkward. It was very direct and to the point.
listen.
And the offended party was there. Shout out Mr. Reggie.
That's right.
They were
That's
there.
right.
And
Oh, that's
I
right.
she gave me space to explain what might happen and cause the friction. But she said, Christy, let me just let you know that we are all out here trying to do the right thing.
Right.
Mhm.
And I think as I listen today, that's all we're trying to do.
Yeah.
You know, we get into the particulars of who's highly visible, who in the front, who get to talk, who's shiny, who's sitting in the seats, without understanding that those seats come with responsibility.
Right.
I learned what my responsibility was that day when I sat up in the city manager office. I had never got a call for that. It was always good stuff.
Absolutely.
But because somebody else chose violence,
Right.
I had to represent the solution to
Right.
that situation and to repair. Because people like Anita Favors understand partnership
Right.
and understand that you can't burn bridges with
No.
active players in the
Right.
community and
Right.
still remain functional in the
Right.
community.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what I'm speaking to now in terms of longevity of something as impactful as this. I think a class need to be taught. You
Yes,
don't
yes.
have that old school sitting down, sitting somebody down who may be extremely capable and relevant,
Absolutely.
but
And passionate,
and
as you
passionate.
were,
Yes.
concerned about the best interest of our community.
Mhm.
But
You know, if you've got that in common, you can
Yes.
work out
Yes.
anything. You
Yes.
can work out any issue.
and
Yes.
it's not just age, right? It's not
No, it
just
isn't.
age.
That's
No.
right. No,
No, it's not
no.
age,
It's
right?
not just age.
You
That's
tell
right.
a story about how I taught you 23 years ago. When I ran for school board, you were my treasurer and campaign manager.
And honored to do it.
Right.
I'm elected now
That's right.
because of you.
You was elected before the foundations of the earth. I just played a role and I played a position, but I played my position. And one of the things I remember about that, and I'm telling y'all, this is a family conversation. We do this for 2 hours. We only got 3 minutes left. One thing I remember about Daryl, and I know about Daryl, is that I knew he was the man for the job. I respected the anointing that he had to do the job. And I remember you had to do something at the Elks Lodge over there off of Magnolia, and you couldn't get there. You had something else, and you couldn't get because you had to work a job too. You work too. People forget that you work too, right? And so you couldn't get there. But let me tell you how far your faith have to go in a person. I was able to stand in his stead and deliver for him at that candidate. And I say that not to big me up, but that's the length
Yeah.
and the breadth and the depth of my faith in my choice.
Right.
And I think that when we're coming together as a community, we have to know those who labor among us. We have to know them, and we have to support them, and we have to know their orthodoxy that leads to their own, and nurture them and support them and spin around the negativity around them and anchor them correctly in conversation. And I am so proud of that because when we do that, it gives the energy that needs to be given. So this toy drive is not just an event, it's a manifestation of the collective consciousness, the collective servant's heart that you all have. And it literally impacts hundreds of families. And it's done because people trust you, people know you, people believe in your stewardship, and they invest their resources because they know you ain't gonna take and sell them bikes on the black market. And so
And a shout out again to Brenda Williams.
y'all don't start.
Brenda Williams is the bomb.
I don't know what we're gonna do. That's a whole nother story.
That's a
I don't know what
whole
we're
You
gonna
know,
do.
Brenda's been trying to retire for at least a year.
And you're
Y'all won't let her
and you're
retire.
chairman of the
I
Athletic
am,
Board,
y'all.
aren't you?
Y'all pray my
Y'all
strength
do
in the
not let
Lord.
her retire.
Pray my strength in the Lord. I beg for your prayers and your supplications, because she's amazing, and
She
we
is
have some
amazing.
amazing, talented people that don't mind learning from others to make impact happen. So, last call to action, y'all. Tell us what we need to do. Tell us how we need to do it, and where we need to show up with our contribution.
They can go to
Give the date of the tournament.
the date is December 7th, Sunday, December 7th,
Okay.
at the Monroe from 4 until 8 o'clock. And we'll be collecting bikes and toys and winter coats for our kids. But more importantly, for those who cannot attend, that they go to my Facebook page, Nick Madison's Facebook page,
Yes.
Anita's Facebook page, Brett Williams' Facebook page. They can find out additional information about how they can give. And we'll make certain that that's present for them after today's conversation. We have those links available. Again, Nick Madison's page or Leon County Commissioner Nick Madison's page, Daryl Jones's page or Daryl Jones, the Leon County School Board page, and Anita Favors, the queen of all retired people.
Amen. Hey, the queen. Okay, when they say now, the queen of all semi-retired people. But anyway, look. Okay, so
Christine,
All glory.
again, thank you to you
Absolutely.
and to Reverend Greg James for allowing us to be here to talk about this shared activity.
Right.
You are very much a part of what has been the rich legacy of impact that this event has had.
that's right.
I'm happy to be here with you. We all are. So thank you to
Absolutely.
you and Reverend Greg James on what we are frequently reminded of is the top rated radio broadcast.
All right.
Listen, this is the community show, and I am with the folks from the community, and we want to make sure. Listen, in our closing today, we want to make sure you get two things that were said. First of all, this is happening. Second of all, we need you to make it happen. So please, we're going to be posting, we're going to be sharing, we're going to be calling. We're going to get these 400 families and these 150 families and these other folks that we got to make sure their holiday season ends well. We're going to make it happen together. And we are so grateful for the leadership of Ms. Anita Favors and the leadership of Daryl Jones and the leadership of Nick Madison. I'm overwhelmed with
Christine
joy.
Henry.
And I'm just blessed to know y'all. I promise y'all, I'm just blessed to know y'all. But if you've heard today and you're inspired, please reach out. Okay, please reach out. Brenda is pushing this thing every day. Brenda Williams from Satellite Sounds, she's pushing this every day. You can register your donations now at the website. We'll post that later on the broadcast. And we just are so thankful for all of you and all of the churches that have been serving people, that have been feeding people, that have been giving people gift baskets. Big old God bless you to you.
Cooking pancakes.
Cooking. Look, that's my anointing right now. That's my season I'm in, feeding folks. But y'all do it too. Y'all do it spiritually. And I'm overwhelmed with gratitude for every single one of you. To all that are listening, I pray the benediction of Paul upon you. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord's mercy and grace shine upon you. Enjoy your family and have a wonderful and happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
We'll see y'all next
Happy
Wednesday
Thanksgiving,
on the
y'all.
Greg James Community Show.
That worked.
Y'all,
Nice.
I'm gonna get Dr. Pull that. I'm gonna get him to pull that, because that was good.
Yeah.
That was good. Because people don't understand. They think that, I don't know what's wrong with us, but they don't understand. You out there pushing it, and you gotta be out
It
there
does not
pushing
seem
it.
like it's been an hour.
No, it doesn't.
It went by fast.
We all talk.
All right, we gotta take a
All right,
picture.
so
Oh,
people,
no, you
listen,
gotta
thank y'all so much for
post it out.
tuning in.
gotta-
I hope
I gotta
y'all
take
got a
this
little bit
fast.
more
I'm gonna
understanding
come back.
today.
I
We
promise
thank
I'll be
y'all,
back.
and listen,
I
have a
gotta
wonderful
take this fast to the
Thanksgiving, and
back.
thank y'all for tuning in to the broadcast. God bless you.
Hey, happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, no, that ain't how you end it. Hold on. That's crazy. You gotta